Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm joined by our superintendent, Mr. Hime. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Back from a fall break and moving forward. A lot of great things going on at Lawton Public Schools.
There are. We had that good break, and so our viewers got just a little, week from us, but we're back with the COVID summary and some other great news. So let's start off with that first.
Well, again, we feel comfortable with our numbers. We had a little bit of a spike in one of our high schools. Obviously, if we try to keep that updated regularly on our lawtonps.org website, go under community and look at COVID summary, and it tells you by site, and the red numbers are the active cases. And as we spoke today, a lot of the active cases were coming off, so our active number was going down. So again, compared to other schools our size, and with the number of students and employees we have, our numbers have been very, very controlled. We do attribute that some that we got hand sanitizers everywhere. Our kids are doing a really great job of using that, social distancing, and obviously wearing masks has been said to help as well. So we've been excited. We've managed that the best we can. We're still working with our flexible classrooms because of that. We were 8,000, 5,000 when the year started. We're probably closer to 8,500, 3,500. Some of the class sizes are starting to get some issues with some of the class sizes are getting a little larger than we like at the elementary but at the same time, most of our virtual classes are still the same size. So we got a couple classes. So we're looking at some areas and trying to get some teacher assistants, and we might even have to divide a class or two as we move. But, the other side of that is, as we all know with the COVID virus, we can't predict the future and other things going on. And so we could actually have a spike in our virtual next week, or we could have more continue to go traditional. So we're kind of working on that and keeping balance. Just make sure everybody knows if we do look at those numbers and we do work to try to make that a controllable situation.
Now, can you clarify, we did have some inquiries from families that they heard we were going to virtual after fall break. We are here, so that's not happened. But if there were ever a case where that looked like was going to happen, what would you say to our families?
Well, first of all, we're going to do everything we can to keep as much traditional going. We've not talked about putting the whole district in a virtual setting. We know that there's a lot of our students, teachers, and staff who we just need that day-to-day interaction. That's what we did it for. So we're really not looking to ever go all virtual. Obviously, a spike at a school or a site could be there where we put a whole site on virtual. And again, we're getting closer and closer and talking. I believe every student should have an iPad, and every student should have a Chromebook now. Every student should have access to the internet. So I feel good about a lot of that stuff that we should be ready. We've done some practice runs in classrooms. At some point, as we get closer to snow days, we may do a day where we just say, hey, we're going to do a virtual Friday, and everybody's going to try it just to see where we're at and make sure we're ready to deal with that. Because the one thing we know is if we do have to go virtual or add more virtual time for all of our students, we have to improve upon what we did last spring in the virtual. And that's a statewide issue. It was an issue where I came from, and it's an issue here as well. It's not to act like it was a Lawton problem. This is a problem in a lot of places. But our job is to educate students, and that maintaining is not what we'd have to do with virtual. We are prepared now to educate students virtually.
And we have flu season coming up.
Yes.
So that's important for our families to know that if you see, numbers of students not in school, it may not even be related to COVID.
It could be the flu. And, this is some of the communication we're working really hard with. I had an email from a parent, and again, we read those emails. We look at ways to fix them where their child wasn't feeling well, so they didn't send them to school, and they got counted absent. We're working hard to correct that communication. Because if a student does their work virtually, we're online, we don't count them absent because it's just like they were at school if they were virtual. So we're really working because our strong encouragement is if your child's not feeling well, you keep them home. In the past, we've probably fought through the flu season with more students in school that weren't 100%. And so hopefully in this era with the mask and students staying home, and again, washing our hands and social distancing, even our flu season is not what it usually is, and we have more control of that.
And our city just continued or extended the mask
Yes,
ordinance.
And, that's compliment to our city council and the leadership at the city, because that does make our job easier when we're working hand in hand, and we both have that mask ordinance or ours is a policy. And again, as I've said numerous times, our problem with masks really aren't our kids. The students, I think they're glad to be in school, but you can go to any building, even the littles, for the most part, they're wearing the mask and wearing them properly. You see a few that got them pulled down and you can see their nose or different things. But for the most part, even at pre-K and pre-K, kindergarten, the students are wearing masks and they're keeping their social distance. And I think it's awesome how they've done a great job of doing that, in a compliment to them that in this time we've adjusted and been able to make this work.
In this COVID era, we're always working to get past the negative news, but our district's really doing good, and especially our students. We have some wonderful things to celebrate, and a matter of fact, we have students on the bus right now for state championships.
Sure, we do, and we're excited about that. The Lawton Eisenhower ladies softball team, fast pitch, they are in the state tournament. We also have the MacArthur lady volleyball team in the state tournament, and then we have a unified volleyball team that's also playing in the state finals next week. So there's a lot of exciting things going on, and that's the thing that we work really hard. We want to celebrate the great things students and staff are doing, because the staff at here is awesome. The students are awesome. Again, I tell people, this is my first year here, but sometimes you get really lucky when you get a job. And when I took this job, that the people I got to come work with has been a blessing to me.
We're really excited about the good things that they're doing. Even more so, we have implemented something phenomenal for our students that ride the bus, and transportation shared that this week.
Yes, it's called
the Z-Pass.
Z-Pass.
That's right.
I can't think of it. Basically, now they're badges that scans on and on when they get on. You scan on the bus and scan off it. The parents can get an app and download it, and basically it'll tell their parent when the kid got off the bus and when they got on it. So you'll know, especially if like you had your student was told to ride to grandma's house or ride to, there was a change, or you would know at what time they got off the bus at your house, so you can track your students. And that's a good thing, because in the safety, knowing where our students are is a big thing. And so this is a big safety thing for us, and we're really excited about it, getting it fully implemented and everybody taking advantage of it.
So we asked our parents that when the kids do come home, especially our littles, that if they have their ID badge, that they put it somewhere safe, because we need that as well in the school building. Yes. For cafeteria, library, books, but they'll need it to get on the bus. And you can call the school if anything happens to the IDs, and we'll get you taken care of.
So that's going to be that's going to be an update for us. It's not going to be one of those things where you have to have it to get on the bus.
Correct.
We'll get you one the next day, but it will be and it also uses, our high school students can ride the
LATs.
LATs, yes, the Lawton Transportation. They can ride those bus with them, so that's a great thing as well. That's a good contract we have, and a good agreement. I've been really impressed. If you look at Lawton Public Schools in the city of Clinton, and you see how the partnership we have in some of those things have been really great. So I've been excited about that.
Okay, and the one thing that we're really just counting on is the constant communication with our families to let us know if, they need information. I know the LATS has the new app, and our community has been really great about keeping us informed for our students. So just keep up the good work and letting us know. The thing that I enjoy right now is traveling to all of our buildings and seeing the great progress. You went out this morning.
Yes, and it's great. We're still doing our drawings. We're going to draw another school out this week at the board meeting on Thursday night, and we're continuing to draw out for the makeover. We got some other projects going on, like the parking lot at the bus barn and some of those things that weren't part of the drawing. But we're really excited to look at just some of the things we're doing and to try to constantly moving to advance Lawton Public Schools. It helps advance the city of Lawton and all the things we do. So that's been exciting as well, and it's all that is a direct result of the community passing the bond issue a couple years ago. They passed one in 2014 and one in 2017. And one of the things I've talked to you about it is, you pass bond issues, and one of the things that happens is you change superintendents, and sometimes what was promised and what was part of the, what's written in the bond issue we're required of the bond issue and what we're promised is not always matched. So we're compiling a list of what was actually promised, and we're going to do our best to honor all those promises, because even if it's not in writing or it's not a law that says we have to spend this money on this, if there was an agreement there, we're going to do everything we can to honor the expectations of that bond issue for those who voted for it. So we're working on that. So there's always rumors about that. I heard somebody say today that said, well, they're not going to do this. They're going to do this with the bond issue. We're not going to get this. No, we are working really hard. And I give credit to Lynn. She's going to make that list. And I even told her to go back to previous bond issues and make sure everything that's been promised in the last 20 years in bond issues, we work through and try to find a way to honor those things. Technology, we got to 1-to-1. We've done the tennis courts. We're working to put air conditioner in a lot of gyms.
And the cranes have been up in some of the sites. You've seen that.
Yes.
They're working on
Lots
that.
of gyms have air conditioners. We've upgraded. We're looking at auditoriums. I know Douglas is still there. Obviously, the middle school, the new Eisenhower Middle School, the safe rooms, teachers, furniture and things like that. We're actually on the way to ordering sound systems for all the classrooms. So there's a lot of things that are part of that. And again, I know people get to thinking, well, they're doing this, so they're not going to do this. That's not the intention. So if you got questions about that, be sure and ask, because one of the worst things that happen is people hear rumors and they take them as facts and they create disinformation. Again, my goal, and Lynn can attest to this, is to make sure we continue to honor that, because obviously the thing about bond issues, when you run them, a lot of people are part of the process of passing that bond issue and working to get the word out to the community and get people to vote in order to pass it. And if you don't honor your promises, it's very difficult not only to get people to vote for it. Again, it's difficult to get people to go out and work for something if you didn't honor what they were telling people you were going to do. So we're going to do everything in our power to meet all those promises of those bond issues.
And if you follow us on our social media and YouTube pages, you'll see some of those projects, because we try to go out every single day and share that. So when you're wondering where these projects are coming from, a lot of that attributes to the passing of the bond.
Yeah, because if you look at it, you got the 2014 bonds, you got the 2017, there was some sales tax money. So there's some different funds out there, and getting all that streamlined, being the new guy, but getting all that streamlined to make sure we want to spend taxpayer money very frugally is a way of putting it. So we're working hard to make sure we extend that money as far as we can, but some of the things we need to get done, we do. We've bought, 7 to 10 buses since I've been here, which is, again, part of the bond issue. So there's a lot of things we're doing, and we hope to continue doing those things, because, even these facelifts we're putting on schools, some of that because fencing was part of bond issues, safety was part of bond issues, and it's going a little slower than I like. But if you go by Ridgecrest and look now, you can see that how much more secure that site is for the students. And when they're playing, people, there's no access. Parents, if you want to come, you have to go through the front door. And that's ultimately the goal we have for every building, that it's secure, so that we control the entrances and the exits of that building.
And it's beautiful. It looks great.
It looks better, getting nice signs out, and some of those things. So we're really excited about continuing that. And, we hope in a couple of years we look up and every school in the district's gotten a facelift. That'll be so exciting.
That's right. Now, the one thing for parents to look forward to is something that we do in October every year, and that's Impact Aid. Do you want to share some info?
Yeah, Impact Aid is huge in this district and many others, but it's money we get in lieu of property taxes. So the land in the district, which we have a military base, we're not getting property tax on it, so they pay us based upon parents who live on military land or work or military. So you'll get those a form to fill out that you talk about where you live and what you do for a living, and it's a must we get those back. Even for our virtual parents, we have to get those forms back, because there's a lot of money involved, and it allows us to do a lot of the things we're able to do. And so we got to work really hard to get those in, and that's the thing that the parents, we really need your partnership and your help getting those forms in.
And we'll be sure to send a notification out when they're ready to go out. So not a problem at all.
And some of that stuff we're working to get it online. It's just a question when you get into some of the federal forms and the signatures, what they allow, what they don't allow. And we don't, some parents don't really like to sign digitally yet. They just don't trust it, and that's understandable. It's new, and your signature is your signature, and you need to protect it how you choose to protect it. So we'll do everything we can to meet your needs and get you the form the best possible way where you can get it back to us.
Is there anything as we prepare to conclude our podcast this week that you want to share with our families out there?
It's amazing. We talk about this, but we're looking, November's right around the corner. We got Thanksgiving break, and it's It's just how fast things are going. And it does create, you're looking at your first quarter or 9 weeks grades coming out and some of those things. We're just working really hard to keep that flexibility for you, make sure as parents we're meeting your needs. LPS on the Go was a success where we met parents' needs. Again, if you have needs, let us know. The federal government still established that we can feed kids 10 meals at a time. Some of those things, make sure you're taking advantage of those programs. And, again, we work for you, and our job is to create an atmosphere where our students can learn and to create an atmosphere where our teachers can teach. And so we're working hard to do that. So we appreciate all of you and working through these tough times with us, because we feel we've really gotten through these times. And as we continue to move through it, that we've had a good partnership, and we've got probably as smooth as anyone that we know.
And we're appreciative of all of our support in the community, and things are continuing to take place even during this pandemic and uncertain time.
It's been unreal. I mean, for the new person who just got here, it's your first. It's unreal the support we get and the cooperation and communication with our parents. And we strive to be better. I mean, I know some of you get misinformation, but that's part of this podcast, and I appreciate you and your team putting it together. As you notice, we got a new studio's been painted.
Flexible.
Appreciate our staff and our paint crew for getting it painted, but we're continuing to improve everything we do, and again, thanks.
Well, we are appreciative again of you guys joining us. Mr. Hime, thank you for your time. We know how busy you are and appreciate this. If you guys have any questions, please remember to email us at info@lawtonps.org. As always, follow us on our social media pages and our website for updated information for the district. And until next time, Mr. Hime, have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Everybody have a great weekend.
Yes, and until next time, we will see you guys then. Thank you.
Thanks.